First off, I didn't prepare anything. And the reason for that is because I've been busy taking phone calls, like 100 a day at least, from everybody that I see here today. Everybody that I've ever worked with. Thank you. Every fine Canadian and patriotic person that I've ever had the privilege to work with is here. And that says something. So first off, I want the front of this crowd to give a big cheer, a big shout out to the Quebec people. I'm so happy that the people from Quebec, nations, provinces are coming together. We're putting everything aside. There is no more time left. So as some of you know, yeah, my name is Rick Boswick. I run Facts versus Feelings on YouTube and on Facebook. And it's been a long journey, but it's been a pleasurable one. I'm hoping that maybe I get 10,000 subs by the time this day is over. I'm very close.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, exactly. And check the notification bell, because they like to turn that off on you. So I guess I started out kind of centrist. I saw things that were wrong. I did about 7 years of research. As an introvert, I was very hard on myself, depression, anxiety, everything, and I'd keep my head down. I wouldn't make eye contact with anybody, and I wouldn't leave the apartment for weeks. But I studied 9/11 truth. I found a lot of interesting things on that. And I also studied alternative cancer cures, because I had cancer twice. I'm a 2-time survivor. Thank you. And the more outspoken that I became, the more influence that I had, the more attention that I obviously brought to myself from the left. And we see what obviously media does. We see the false narrative, and they're swaying public opinion. That's why we don't have 50,000 people here or 100,000 people, because it's unpopular what we're talking about. And we get demonized by the people that are suffering from cognitive dissonance, that you know, in the face of facts that go against everything that they believe, they will double down. And it's a scary thing. But what I see here with the bigger numbers is that as a patriotic community, we are coming together. So we are, you know, we've had smaller events. We've had, you know, Dan Dubois from C3. He was usually the biggest turnout for the year, you know, 300-400 people. But now we're family. We're family, and that's the thing I love about this. I mean, this gathering is just as important for the mind and the heart and the soul as having 8 patriotic friends in my house last night, as hosting, as barbecuing, as getting to know people, consummating relationships in person. But anyway, so things picked up last year when and I got to give a shout out to Derek Story wherever he is. So once again, I knew him from before my political days, and then he came into the fray and really stepped up, and we became a very unstoppable team, a very big threat to Antifa. So those, obviously, I don't have to say who Antifa is, right? But we were used to the pussycats here that don't get violent. We weren't used to the radicals in Toronto, and we exposed them. We exposed a lot of them, and thank you to Mindy Thomas, wherever she is, and the people that work with Antifa Exposed for bringing us information on these people. And the real danger here, and well, I mean, the physical threat is overwhelming. Like when we went, and a lot of people are going to disagree with the Gage Park, the Pride Park. I went with the Christians. The Christians have been doing it forever. For like 7 years, they've been going to different Pride events. And nobody expected what we saw at Pride in 2018, 2019.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. And it was the same way that we're unifying. We see Black Lives Matter, we see Muslim Brotherhood, we see the LGBTQ community. They're all teaming up too. And they're government funded. And they have the media in their pocket. And what that does, when they create a false normal, for a false narrative, it emboldens people to attack us. So that very fact that you have to worry about your physical safety by coming out and expressing differing opinions by being critical of the government, that's a scare. That's East Bloc Germany. That's absolutely communism. And we see obviously with Norman, you saw Norman, he tried to go through the system. He tried, yeah. Cheer for Norman. And I'm honored to work with this man. I'm honored to work with this man. Yeah, we are all Norman. We are Norman. We are Norman. We are Norman.
We are Norman. We are Norman. We are Norman. We are Norman.
So, anyway, yeah. Once we went to Toronto and really we got exposed to how a violent Antifa could be, he got locked out of the courts. We've been trying the courts, and they're playing their games in the courts. And we've been following the rule of law. We've been peaceful. But you saw, obviously, if you watched my footage, you saw what they did at Pride. You saw when they found out that Pan Man, the guy who defended us with his helmet, defended us. He defended us. You can look at the footage. I've broken it down, and they get a pass. They get a pass. The week after, for retribution, we got hunted for 8 blocks through the downtown core. Many assaults, blocking our path, false imprisonment. Jack Reynolds, wherever he is, a 70-year-old man hit in the head with a brick, and Ed, wherever he is, attempted murder, and that's they got back finally and said that's a civil matter. That's a civil matter. So yeah, exactly, and that's Tory telling the cops to stand down and giving them favor. Now, when it comes to their online propaganda, it's universal. I think what we've established is that the same Antifa that come out and use violence and milkshakes and all this kind of stuff and try and quell all dissenting opinion of the globalist agenda. And they're paid probably very well. We've actually captured $300 wanted stories. Exactly, posters. So if you're a good fiction story writer, then you may want to make some money.
Thank you.
Okay. But anyway, what I want to say is, I'm one individual. That's all I am. And I had the courage when it wasn't popular. I mean, my family ostracized. A lot of you have probably had big fights with family over this. It is a price that we have to pay, but this right here, what you see, this is the reward. This is the reward. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.